Hello and thanks for joining Ogun State Television News at 8. I am Adibola Oshomuji. First, the highlight. Vice President Kashim Shettima receives the Crown Princess of Sweden on official visit. Ogun State government partners Nivea to establish aluminium recycling plant. Nigeria signs memorandum of understanding with Saudi Arabia on narcotics control. Fighting continues in Myanmar despite post-earthquake ceasefires.
And also on the news, Nigerians' debt servicing rise by 68% to 13 trillion naira. I'll bring you details of this and more stories on the business segment of the news. I am Opeyemi Adeomi. Don't go away.
And from the world of sport, Southampton sacked manager Ivan Zurich following relegation from the Premier League. I'll be back with the details of this and other stories. I am Sheyelo Tonkawe.
Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. Don't forget that you can watch us live on Facebook at Ogtv and Ogun State Television, YouTube at Ogtv Abeokuta, and on Ogtv website www.ogtv.com.ng/live. For the latest news and reports, you can check us on these platforms: X at Ogtv, Instagram at Ogun State Television, or download Ogtv app on Apple Store and Google Play Store. And now to the news. Vice President Kashim Shettima has received the Crown Princess of Sweden, Victoria Desiree, at the Aso Rock Presidential Villa, Abuja. The Crown Princess was received by the Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Senator Ibrahim Adeja, who led her to the office of the Vice President. The visit aims to strengthen diplomatic and economic ties between Sweden and Nigeria. During her stay, she will also meet with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, and the Governor of Lagos State. A significant highlight of her visit is the commissioning of the Swedish Trade Office in Lagos, which is expected to bolster bilateral trade relations. The Crown Princess had received Shettima at the Royal Palace during his official visit to Sweden last October. Nigeria and the U.S. have expressed commitment to strengthen bilateral cooperation between them through various economic sectors. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, disclosed this in a statement by Al-Kazim Abdul-Kadir, his Special Assistant on Media and Communications Strategy in Abuja. Tuga disclosed that the commitment is the outcome of an inaugural virtual meeting with the U.S. Deputy Secretary of State, Christopher Landau, to discuss the areas of mutual interest between Nigeria and the U.S. On Nigeria's commitment to structured migration solutions, Tuga pointed to initiatives such as the Technical Aid Corps, which deploys Nigerian professionals to other nations to support development efforts. He reiterated that such programs provide a more organized approach to migration, while benefiting both Nigeria and its international partners. Meanwhile, Landau stated the U.S. commitment to a strong and enduring partnership with Nigeria through strengthening commercial ties, enhancing security collaboration, and deepening diplomatic engagement. The meeting, which marks the first high-level engagement between Nigeria and the U.S. under the new American administration, set the stage for continued cooperation on critical global and regional issues. Meanwhile, Nigeria and Saudi Arabia have signed a memorandum of understanding to strengthen operational partnership in narcotics control. The agreement was signed in Rida by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, and the General Directorate of Narcotics Control of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. NDLEA said the two countries also agreed to tighten the nose on drug trafficking networks within their territories. Speaking at the event, the NDLEA chairman, retired Brigadier General Buba Mawa, said both countries have long been allies across various spheres. Mawa, who was accompanied by the agency's Director of Operations and General Investigation, Ahmed Ngege, said that both countries have a history of strong bilateral relations. He said that the partnership was not only a matter of engagement, but had extended to a deeper connection, as evidenced by the signing of the MOU. This, he added, would no doubt build on the collective expertise and establish effective strategies to address the complexities of narcotics control. The First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has issued a heartfelt message on the occasion of World Health Day 2025, emphasizing the critical importance of investing in maternal and newborn health as a cornerstone of sustainable development. This was contained in a statement released by the First Lady's media aide, Busola Kukoyi. Tinubu highlighted the alarming reality that many women and newborns still lose their lives each day due to preventable complications during pregnancy, childbirth, and the postnatal period. She also extended her congratulations to health workers across the nation, acknowledging their sacrifices in the pursuit of a healthier world. Here in Ogun State, the state government, in collaboration with Navia Limited, an indigenous company, is set to establish an aluminium recycling plant that will generate over $150 million annually. It would also account for 2.5% of the entire non-oil export of the country. The chief executive officer of the company, Lawal Ibidapo, made this known after his meeting with the state governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, in his office, Okemoson, Abeokuta.
Okay, this recycling plant is actually going to be recycling aluminum scraps. Basically what you have car engines, and can cokes and all that into ADC-12 that will be actually exported to car manufacturers majorly in Asia, Japan, Indonesia and all sorts. And then the copper scraps also into copper ingots that will actually be exported also to Asia for manufacturing of copper wires. And the plant actually is situated in Mowe, like I said earlier. It's going to be employing about 500 plus people, creating jobs locally and also contributing, to the development of Ogun State. Our full capacity, the plant is going to generate over $150 million annually, and that would account for about 2.53% of the entire non-oil export for Nigeria.
Lawal applauded Governor Abiodun for creating an enabling environment for businesses to thrive, saying that choosing the Gateway State for its business location is very significant, particularly due to its closeness to Lagos, which is the financial capital of the country.
Because one, it's nearness to port. The place is close to Tinkan. We can also close to Papa Port. And alternatively, we can use Lekki Port. Apart from that, you think in terms of capital appreciation. If you look at it, if you invest in any other state, the kind of return you're going to get in investment, the value is very close to Lagos. You can see that the prices of land, property keeps appreciating. Another thing is availability of labor. If you look at skilled labor, it's easier to get people that are skilled. You want to get maybe an HSC officer, Lagos is close, or Ogun, you can easily get that. You want to get a quality assurance person, it's easier.
He also said that the investment will generate more 500 employment for the youth and improve the socio-economic development of the state and the country at large. The insight, judgment, and coordination of accounting officers and top management executives are crucial to building an efficient and effective civil service capable of driving Ogun State development and transformation. This underscores the importance of equipping them through continuous training. Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun emphasized this while declaring open a 5-day strategic leadership and management course for permanent secretaries, general managers, the clerk of the State House of Assembly, and other top officials. The event was held at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Obasikiru Kayode Adetona School of Governance Studies, Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agboiwoye.
At the inauguration of the Obasikiru Kayode Adetona School of Governance, Governor Abiodun had pledged that the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies NIPSS will take over the institution and that top government functionaries will be the first to benefit from its training programs. With the fulfillment of this promise, permanent secretaries, general managers, the clerk of the House of Assembly, and other key civil servants are participating in this 5-day leadership and management workshop. Declaring the workshop open, Governor Dapo Abiodun, represented by his deputy, Engineer Nemo Salako Oyedele, noted that the training, which is the first of its kind in the state, aims to boost the capacity of senior civil servants and accelerate the transformation agenda of its administration.
Training is the beginning of a process of reflection, renewal, and leadership development. It is an opportunity to deepen your understanding of governance, sharpen your strategic thinking, and strengthen the institutions you lead.
The Director General of NIPSS, Professor Ayo Omotayo, and Director of the school, Professor Shola Adeyanju, commended the Ogun State government for taking the lead in workforce transformation and fully leveraging the institute's resources.
We are hoping that we can have something like this replicated in other parts, in other zones of Nigeria. Head of Service of Lagos State, Mr. Bodiago, is saying that he was going to recommend to Mr. Governor of Lagos State.
We want to give them the fundamentals and the principles, not just theoretic, but also in terms of practice. And that's why we have brought the best of the best.
Ogun State Head of Service, Mr. Kehinde Onosoya, praised the governor for fulfilling his promise, stating that this initiative reflects the administration's commitment to building a highly effective civil service that can meet the state's developmental objectives.
This training program has further underscored our unwavering commitment to capacity development in Ogun State, and is a way of solidifying our shared mission of making Ogun State a beacon of excellence for others in terms of human capital development.
Also speaking, Lagos State Head of Service, Mr. Bode Aguru, expressed admiration for Ogun State's initiative and pledged that permanent secretaries from Lagos would also benefit from similar training at the school.
It's an amazing initiative. It now means that the Southwest has a center of excellence that they can train top civil servants and public servants. You don't need to go all the way to Jos. Jos has come to us.
In their Guru messages, Deputy Vice Chancellor of OOU, Professor Abosede Oderinde, Chairman of the Association of Retired Head of Service and Permanent Secretaries, Engineer Adeniyi Abiola, and other heads of service lauded the program. There were also royal remarks from the Awujale and paramount ruler of Ijebuland, represented by Princess Adetono, and the Ebu Mawe of Agboiwoye, Oba Abdulrazak Adenugba. Speaking on behalf of the participants, chairperson of the body of permanent secretaries, Mrs. Fumilayo Dada, described the workshop as a unique opportunity to revamp the civil service. She assured that the participants would apply knowledge gained to drive better governance. Matthew Showumi, Ogtv News.
Ogun State House of Assembly, through its Committee on Public Account and Anti-Corruption, has played host to the management teams of State Teaching Service Commission, TESCOM, the State Hospital, Ilaro, and the State Local Government Service Commission, with a commendation on their internally generated revenue drive, with a caution on the need to avoid putting unnecessary financial burden on the people. The members of the committee, led by Honorable Damilare Bello, gave the commendation in continuation of the consideration of a 2023 audit report on ministries, departments and agencies of government in the state by the House Committee at the Assembly Complex, Okemoson, Abeokuta. The chairman implored the management of TESCOM to submit its fixed asset register, component of other equipment under its capital expenditure, while requesting the management of the state hospital in Laro to supply more supporting document and bank statement on the drug, laboratory and medical headings, as well as its procurement process within 48 hours. The House Committee also urged the management of a Local Government Service Commission to provide explanatory note on contingency funds and include bank charges in the financial report. Responding, the management teams of the agencies, including TESCOM, led by the Director of Administration and Supplies, Mr. Akintomiwa Shibodu, the CMD of the State Hospital in Laro, Dr. Ayola Saheed, and the Director of Management Services at the Local Government Service Commission, Mr. B.A. Owolabi, promised to supply all documents requested by the House Committee accordingly. Still ahead, outbreak of meningitis kills 156, over 2,000 infected across 32 states. Details of these and other stories after this break. Stay with us. Glad to have you back. You are still watching Ogtv News at 8. The federal government has ordered the management of federal higher institutions to publish the financial data and academic capacity before May 31, 2025. Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, who communicated this directive in a statement signed by the ministry's spokesperson, Boriowo Folashade, said all vice-chancellors, rectors and provosts must provide their annual budgetary allocation, including the personnel cost, overhead cost, and capital expenditure. Allows a mandated school management to also disclose data around their research grant from foreign institutions, multilateral organizations, and development partners. The statement added that institutions must include the findings received from TET Fund. The Minister of Education, Dr. Olatunji Alausa, has proposed extending the mandatory National Youth Service Corps NYSC program from 1 year to 2 years. Alausa also recommended the expansion of the skill acquisition and entrepreneurship development, training for corps members to equip them for life after service. In this report, Olashile Shotunde samples the opinions of Nigerians on the controversial proposal.
The Minister of Education, Dr. Olatunji Alausa, is proposing a major reform to the National Youth Service Corps scheme. During a courtesy visit to the Director General of NYSC, Brigadier General Olakunle Nofil, the Minister recommended extending the service year from 1 to 2 years. He also emphasized the need to broaden the curriculum of the skill acquisition and entrepreneurship development program to better equip corps members with practical, income-generating skills. The proposal has sparked diverse reactions among Nigerians.
Skill acquisition within that 2 years, yes. If it's a deliberate strategy and it's not just paper work, with sincerity about it, it will help this country. If it's not going to turn into another paper tiger, like even from primary school now, secondary school, you must do some kind of a skill acquisition. But what result are we getting from there, even in tertiary institutions?
We have a lot of unemployed graduates. Instead of wasting their time, what will be the benefit if at the end of the day government said that they should spend 2 years for this service, maybe because he has increased the allowance to 77,000 naira. Some people might see it as an opportunity for them to be cashing out, but I see it as a waste of time.
While some stakeholders see the initiative as a waste of time and resources, arguing that the second year would be better spent if the government provided startup capital to support core members after their 1-year service.
People can get skilled right from their school days. Look at our own here. We have an entrepreneurship center here. Let people go there and learn a trade. Irrespective of the program you are doing, go and learn a trade. With that, you'll be able to have a better skilled, not necessarily the skill you are trained upon. But for someone now to say that they should be spending 2 years, to are still improvising them, me, I don't support it.
Others believe the extension will offer core members greater exposure to skill acquisition and entrepreneurship, thereby preparing them better for life after NYSC.
2 years for skill acquisition is the best thing that can help youth of Nigerians today to make it in life, because now without skill you are nobody, because jobs might not offer you what you want. So with skill you can get 1 or 2 things. Imagine somebody that has learned tailoring when he or she was still in school and now going for NYSC, learning catering, now has 2 skills. The person will start making money.
Picking up the idea of 2 years service is not worth it, I would say, because there's basic things that we need to know after our education, which is we either go into some entrepreneur or be a skilled person that wants to leverage on whatsoever he or she has learned. Then spending 2 years of service will not really help.
The debate continues as many await further clarification on the objectives and structure of the proposed 2-year program.
Minister of Youth Ayodele Olawande has announced the establishment of a youth academy to enable young people acquire skills and be more useful to society. The minister made the announcement during the 2025 Annual Management Conference themed Transforming the NYSC Scheme to meet the yearnings of the contemporary Nigerian graduate and society, held in Abuja on Monday. He further explained that hotlines have been made available through the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, for core members to call for protection in case of emergency. The government, according to him, is now looking at creating impact and making them viable for the job market, more than mandating the youth to the compulsory 1-year national service under the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC. The House of Representatives has steered debate with a proposed bill mandating a first degree as the minimum educational requirement for local government chairmen. While supporters argue it will improve governance, critics call it an exclusionary measure that overlooks capable leaders without formal degrees. Olaide Oloye reports.
The House of Representatives has advanced the bill requiring the first degree as the minimum qualification for local government chairmen, sponsored by Deputy Speaker Beni Kalu and 8 others. The bill was among 42 passed for a second reading on Wednesday. Currently, the minimum requirement for local government chairmen or vice chairman is a West African Senior School certificate. Proponents argue that the bill will strengthen local governance by ensuring leaders have the education needed for effective administration, transparency, and service delivery. They contend that higher qualifications lead to better decision-making and grassroots development.
Scale up the qualification and skill of people who are going to lead you, then you are going to have bad governance. In the past, somebody can be a primary 6 holder in the 70s, in the 60s, and then you can equate that to a master's degree, but not Nigeria of today. And so is a right step in the right direction, so that if you have a graduate that is the chairman of a local government, the first thing is that you are able to communicate with that person and he will understand what you have in mind.
It's a good thing to have heads of local governments being a degree holder. It's good. When I was a councillor in local government, I was a degree holder. And by then, I have just only the chairman and myself being HND holders. If they are moving that motion, I will support it in one way, because whoever that must lead must have the quality to lead. Must be somebody who can analyze, understand what it means to lead.
Critics, however, warn that the move could sideline experienced leaders without degrees, but with strong community ties and practical leadership skills.
That may amount to disadvantage to some local government area. We have experienced people, dedicated Nigerians, more honest, people with integrity. They don't have first degree, but they have been around for a long time, and they can paddle the affairs of the government. So I expect them to increase the presidency to PhD or professorial, and then the governorship to masters.
The debate continues over whether formal education should outweigh hands-on experience in local governance.
Chairman is the person in government that is most closer to the people. He must be accessible to the people. That's why having a degree doesn't determine that or not. What I should advocate, the person must be knowledgeable enough about the constituency he wants to govern. Once you have the knowledge, the broad knowledge of what you are having, and once you identify the needs of the people, he will be able to provide it for them.
As the bill progresses, stakeholders urge lawmakers to strike a balance between educational standard and inclusive representation, ensuring grassroots leaders remain accessible to competent individuals, regardless of formal qualifications. The outcome could redefine the future of local governance in Nigeria. Olaide Oloye, Ogtv News.
The House of Representatives Committee on Customs and Excise has threatened to blacklist contractors handling various projects at the Seme-Border Area Command in Lagos State. The committee spoke just as the controller in charge of the command, Benedict Oramalugo, appealed to the National Assembly to come to the aid of the command to address the ocean surge which threatens the existence of the command. Oramalugo also told the committee that the command was able to generate about 1.3 billion naira as revenue in the first 3 months of the year, while seizing goods with a duty-paid value of over 800 million naira. Speaking when he led other members of the committee on an oversight visit to the command, Chairman of the committee, Leke Abejide, frowned at contractors being awarded the contract, which they will not execute. Abejide said the projects are important to the operation of the command, adding that their absence affects the operations of the command, which controls the busiest land border in the country in terms of revenue generation. Some of the abandoned projects include construction of 30-man rank and file at Badagry, the construction of 32 residential quarters for rank and file at Seme, the construction of 2 number 16-man rank and file at Seme Badagry, and other projects. The Ogun State government is set to support the ongoing Nigerian Army recruitment sensitization exercise following a request from the Chief of Army Staff. A statement signed by the Permanent Secretary, Bureau of Cabinet and Special Duties, the Army noted a significant decline in number of applicants showing interest in joining its ranks, particularly in the southwest region. In response, the state government has pledged its support to intensify awareness efforts. As part of this move, a town hall meeting will be held to engage youth leaders and other key community stakeholders on the benefit of a career in the Nigerian Army. The event is scheduled to take place on Wednesday, 9th of April 2025 at the Obas Complex Auditorium in Abeokuta. It will commence at 10 o'clock in the morning. Participants will include local government chairmen, members of the Council of Obas, the Ogun State Youth Council, representatives of community development associations, and voluntary parliamentary groups. This effort underscores the Ogun State government commitment to youth development and national service. no fewer than 156 Nigerians have died and 1,858 others infected by meningitis across 23 states since the start of the current meningitis season. The Niger Center for Disease Control and Prevention has disclosed. In its latest CSM situation report, the NCDC warned that the outbreak remains active in several high-burden states, with Kebbi, Sokoto, and Katsina leading the grim tally. Kebbi alone accounts for 881 suspected cases, almost half of the national total, followed by Sokoto with 303 and Katsina with 158. The center revealed that 10 states currently account for 94% of all suspected cases, listing others as Jigawa 147, Yobe 109, Gombe 47, Bauchi 66, Borno 36, Adamawa 27, and Oyo 23. At least 17 local government areas across the Niger state have each recorded over 10 suspected cases, with Gwando 313, Alero 143, in Kebbi and Tambuwal 155 in Sokoto among the worst hit. During epidemiological week 12, March 17 to 23, 315 new suspected cases were recorded, down from 418 the previous week, marking a 65% drop. The second edition of the medical outreach organized by the Lukman Atobatele Development Foundation has successfully provided free healthcare services to over 2,000 residents of Abeokuta and its environs. The outreach offered not only free consultations but also surgical procedures and medications at no cost to beneficiaries. Held in conjunction with the annual Lishabi Festival, the event recorded an impressive turnout, underscoring the community's pressing need for accessible health care. Bumi Adegun's report is presented in this package.
It was a day of gratitude for beneficiaries of the second edition of the Lukman Atobatele Development Foundation's annual medical outreach, spearheaded by Honorable Lukman Atobatele, the lawmaker representing Abeokuta South State Constituency 1 in the Ogun State House of Assembly.
I really want to say a big thank to Honorable Atobatele for this kind of program.
I appreciate what he has done. This thing is something that has been able to help a lot of people.
Medical outreach is a very key, important factor that almost every community should always imbibe, because there's so many of them out there that needed medical attention, but because of the high prices in medical bills, they find it very difficult. But in this avenue, you always see them coming in their numbers, to actually benefit.
Something you used to buy for like 40,000, you're now buying for like 178, 180. So you can imagine people that can't afford it. Sure, you understand. So when they hear of such programs, they should come out en masse and take the opportunity.
Dignitaries in attendance praised the widespread impact of the initiative, which catered not only to residents of Abeokuta South, but also extended to people from surrounding communities.
He has money and everything to treat himself, give himself the best medical practices, but his people, those that voted him there, those that he is representing, lack some certain things. And if he can bring this kind of program on, I give it to him.
What he has been doing is just to promote the activities of his party and all those things. Because one thing is to give a promise, another thing is to fulfill the promise when you are in government. We have seen that this is somebody who's ready to do things, a lot of things for his constituency, even beyond his constituency.
And for surgical cases, we did over 30 minor surgical cases like hernia.
The reason that we need to have regular checkups as adults is to prevent, first of all, you can prevent disease, and if you have some disease, you can pick it up at an early stage.
Speaking at the event, Honorable Atobatele reiterated the importance of the outreach, emphasizing that the initiative was not limited to his constituents alone, as health is wealth.
Don't restrain it
tests for people, so to know those that are fit for this surgery. Not only in Ogun State, it's not only in my constituency. Whoever that needs medical attention, we should do it. We should not play with our health. The 5 minutes you will use to consult a doctor in your area, a doctor, a physician in your area, is far, far better than being hospitalized.
The outreach provided services to about 2,000 patients, including eye care, dental treatments, surgeries, and distribution of free medications and glasses, all administered by a team of medical professionals.
Four persons who were previously detained in connection with the fire incident at the Rivers State House of Assembly have raised fresh allegations, claiming they are being pressured to alter their original statements to implicate Edison Ehie, the Chief of Staff to the suspended Governor of Rivers State, Simelai Fubara. The four who were in November last year acquitted of the charges after about 6 months in Kuje Correctional Facility include Chime Ezebalike, Kenneth Pasa, Oladile Lukman, and Matt Fasen Olumini. Ezebalike, at a press briefing in Port Harcourt on Monday, said they were recently contacted by a prominent opposition leader in Obio Akpo local government area to revise their narrative. 3 of the 4 acquitted suspects consented to appear on camera during press briefing. According to them, the request was linked to a wider political scheme allegedly aimed at collaborating claims made in a press briefing by former head of service George Nwaike in Abuja. Okpeyemi Adewumi is our guide on business news after this break.
Welcome to Business News. Nigeria spent a total of 13.12 trillion naira on debt servicing in 2024, representing a 68% increase from the 7.8 trillion naira recorded the previous year. According to analysis of fresh data from the Debt Management Office, the debt servicing cost recorded in 2024 surpassed the budgeted allocation of 12.3 trillion naira for the year. The higher than expected expenditure highlights the increasing pressure of debt obligations on the nation's fiscal sustainability. For the 2025 budget, the federal government has earmarked 16 trillion naira for debt servicing, reflecting the government's anticipation of continued debt-related expenses. This development comes amid rising borrowing costs and an increasing debt burden, putting pressure on the country's fiscal position. The federal government has said it will deliver the first batch of 3.2 million electricity meters procured to bridge the over 7 million unit metering gap in the country. In a statement, Special Advisor on Strategic Communications and Media Relations to the Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabu, Bola Tinje, the minister, said 75,000 meters under the International Competitive Bid 1 are expected by April 2025. The second batch of 200,000 meters will follow in May 2025. According to the statement, though installation rates have varied over the years, the sector has maintained a yearly average of about 668,000 meters of installation annually. Structured financing and government-backed initiative are expected to accelerate deployment beyond the current pace, ensuring that the metering gap is addressed efficiently, the minister added. Crude Oil Refinery Owners Association of Nigeria has said that the price of premium motor spirits, petrol, can drop below 400 naira per litre with the current crash in crude oil prices. Koran argued that there is no reason petrol should not be sold at 350 naira per litre if crude prices eventually fall to $50 per barrel. However, Koran said petrol prices will continue to rise despite the crash in crude prices and the reduction in its landing cost. Koran feared that unless the federal government continues the Naira for crude deal, the price of petrol will be on the rise, even if the price of crude oil falls to $50 per barrel. Oil prices plunged last week to $65 per barrel as the United States imports tariffs, and unexpectedly, OPEC Plus supply hike raised $10 per barrel from global benchmarks. The Nigerian Aviation Handling Company has posted the strongest financial performance yet, doubling its pre-tax profit to 18.70 billion naira and growing revenue by 88.5% to 53.54 billion naira in 2024. According to its newly released audited reports filed on the Nigerian Exchange Limited. Riding on the performance, the board has recommended a 134% increase in dividends payouts while the company ramps up plan to achieve a 5-year revenue target of 300 billion naira by 2029. After taxes, NACO net profits leapt by 132% from 5.54 billion naira to 12.86 billion naira. Consequently, earnings per share rose by 132% from 2.84 naira in 2023 to 6.60 naira in 2024. The Dixon-led Board of Directors recommended the distribution of 11.58 billion naira as cash dividends to shareholders for the 2024 business year. And finally, the Nigerian stock market began April on a bearish note, reversing the gain of the past week and continuing the negative momentum from March. In the 3-day trading week, the NGX All-Share Index dipped by 0.14% week on week to close at 105,511.89. The market capitalization slipped by 0.17% to 66.15 trillion naira, handling a loss of about 109.98 billion naira to investors. The local bourse faced this decline despite the release of impressive 2024 audited financials and generous dividends declarations, particularly from the banking sector. And that's how far we can go on the business news tonight. Many thanks for watching. We now go back to Bola for the rest of the bulletin. Do stay with us.